Okay.
Are down so many guys like Trey and Karras, but they're also down so many guys. For you guys to pull off a win like this, where a lot of those guys are second rounders, what does that say about the team's ability to do what needs to be done?
Well, there's a lot of, I can name you some second rounders that are pretty good, so I wouldn't characterize it that way. Oklahoma City's got a roster full of them. They have the best record in the league. Draymond Green's one too. Um, but to your point, I don't see our players in that light at all. I don't see two ways. I just see Hawks, and I see five guys on the floor. And, I think everybody that was on the floor really competed. Um, I thought we did the things we needed to do to win. Um, had a few times in the fourth quarter where we came up empty offensively, and they were able to turn those into buckets. And anytime you have a player like Grimes out there that's capable of creating a shot, and they've got shooting around that, it makes it hard. Particularly if you're not really dialed in. He makes it hard on you, because if you try to double him or hit him, they've got shooting. But like I said, I think Dyson hit some big free throws, little things. We got the ball in bounds. Hopefully we learn not to foul late in the game, nor give up threes, because those are the things that are really hard to overcome. And inexperienced guys, whether it's Zach, Mo, Keaton, these are new situations for them. So it was good to see us come up with a win.
And I wanted to ask about Terrence, who's been very aggressive these last few games. And I'm curious what you've seen that's maybe sparked some of that, whether it's just a change of environment or being a byproduct of new players he's playing with.
Well, I think if you look historically, he drives the ball really well, and is able to finish. So we want, all our guys to be aggressive, trying to attack the rim, particularly in transition. And as you said, he's embraced that. Every team's a little different, and he's in some situations that he hasn't been in. He's been on some really good teams, but there's opportunities for him not only to attack the rim, but when he gets in there to create for other guys. And I think he's unselfish enough to do that.
Dyson Daniels and Zachary Ricochet have made a strong impact early in their careers. Just what are some things that stand out about their development to you at this point of the season?
Well, if you were to go back and look at both of them in the month of November, just from, take the analytics, which are telling, the way that Zach is, he shot like 2,000 shots since September. And there's some things that he's doing with his feet that are a little different. His balance is better. And he's maintained his confidence, and I think that's a credit to him. It's also a credit to, the guys on our staff that want him to be aggressive. Dyson's in a similar position. I think as the year's gone on, he's attacking the rim even more. He's shooting the ball. He had a shot tonight in the high quadrant where he just pulled it, without any hesitation or thought. And that to me, those guys, just playing with confidence. And they're going to make some mistakes. They're young. And that's part of the process, that they go through some things. But I think, as you said, I said at the beginning of the year, it's a long runway, and we may not have anticipated those guys being in some of the situations they're in. But whether it's injury, trade, all those things, as the roster, evolves, there's been opportunities for them, and they've stepped up in those situations. It's good to see.
You ended up with 34 assists, and everybody that played had at least one. What does that say about the health of your offense on a night without Trey and Karras, for example?
It's something we talked about this morning. I think the thing that gets us sometimes is when we don't space properly. It's hard to pass the ball to someone that's not spaced or not ready for it. And our guys really embraced that tonight. And it's an unselfish group, and that's not always. Running and spacing sound really simple, because, they are in theory. But when you get out there, there's a level of discipline and commitment that you have to play with in order to make those things happen. And we are spaced. You know, guys are willing to pass to each other and make an extra pass if that's the case. And it's good basketball.
You obviously were missing a lot of guys, but you got Veet back tonight. What did you like out of what you saw from him?
You know, when he came back earlier in the year, you know, it took him a little while to kind of find his rhythm and find his confidence. And this time, you know, I loved it to see him just be aggressive right out of the gate. And he's a really good player. And he's someone that makes the people around him better. You know, not just his versatility offensively, but some of the things he does on defense as well. So, you know, good to have him back.
Hey, Coach, Jacob was able to hit a couple threes from above the break. What have you seen with his evolution in terms of not just the three-point shooting, but, you know, sort of moving him away from the corner? And what do you think that does for both your offense and the defense?
I don't mind him in the corner because that means he's spaced. So the corner three is a little easier shot, actually, than some of the ones he hit on the top of the floor. There's a play that we run where he pops, and we're playing through him. You know, you've seen some of the passes he's made. And he told me coming out of timeout when we called the play, if they were dropped off him, he was going to shoot it. I said, good. And he did, and he made it. So his confidence, again, it's another guy. We talk a lot about Zach and Dyson and some of those guys. You know, he's 24 too, and finding himself in new situations. And again, another guy that's working at it. And that's really, to me, it's gratifying for our guys, and you're sharing that as a coach when you know that they're putting work in, and then you see it start to translate into the game. And that's, you know, that's something he's been doing. Okay. Thank you, guys.